It's actual classes that people are paying for to decenter their whiteness. Like, they feel like they're truly at fault for being white. So they are taking classes to help themselves be less internally racist, because they like, well, you may not be racist on the surface. This is black lady teaching the class. Like, you may not be racist on the surface, but you might not know that you're internally racist. You're not paying any attention. So they're paying for classes to become less white. I don't get it.
I think the Smithsonian had this. This is hilarious. Talking about race. And as I'm reading this, I'm like, was this thing made by white supremacists to convince black people and minorities to not improve their lives or something? Like, this is really weird. It says, aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture in the United States. White dominant culture or whiteness refers to the ways white people and their traditions, attitudes, and ways of life have been normalized over time and are now considered standard practices in the United States. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we have all internalized some aspects of white culture, including people of color. Well, let's take a look at what they think white culture is. Rugged individualism. So if you're a libertarian, you're a white supremacist. It's white. It doesn't say white supremacy. It says whiteness. Yeah. So, of course, there can be no Latino, Asian, Black, Indian libertarians. The individual is the primary unit. Self-reliance, independence, and autonomy highly valued and rewarded. Individuals assumed to be in control of their environment. You get what you deserve. Now, okay, fine. Make arguments about collectivism versus whatever you want, but the next one's hilarious. The nuclear family. Father, mother, 2.3 children is the ideal social unit. The husband is the breadwinner and head of the household. Wife is homemaker and subordinate to the husband. Children should have own rooms and be independent. You know, it's kind of wild because it's not even about like minorities in the United States. You can go to India. You can go to Asia. There are people who aren't white that have families. Right. Sorry, like everybody on the planet had families. And this is the ideology they'd been pushing. Now, I do think it's largely crushed. This was hugely embarrassing to them. And then Donald Trump ends up winning and the Republicans get a big sweep just a couple weeks ago. But look at this. Objective, rational, linear thinking. Cause and effect relationships.
Bro, that's not real. That's not real. There's no way that this is real.
I can't be. It's this literal human
real
stuff.
Cause and effect relationships. If you realize that when the sun comes up and then the water comes down, the plants grow, white supremacy.
Man, you know what? The only reason I know this is real stuff is, and I know you're not his biggest fan. I'm not necessarily either, but I watched the documentary Matt Walsh did just to see what it was about. It's actual classes that people are paying for to decenter their whiteness. Like, they feel like they're truly at fault for being white. So they are taking classes to help themselves be less internally racist, because they like, well, you may not be racist on the surface. This is black lady teaching the class. Like, you may not be racist on the surface, but you might not know that you're internally racist. You're not paying any attention. So they're paying for classes to become less white. I don't get it.
I just want to real quick show you the proof, okay? This is the Miami Herald, 2020. Smithsonian Museum apologizes for saying hard work and rational thought is white culture. They had to apologize over this. That's crazy, man.
So let them white people that do that, absolutely. Keep spending the money to anybody that, if you want to relieve yourself of your guilt, cool. You know where else you could do? You could go to xforboys.com and you could donate to the work that King Randall is doing to exorcise some of these demons of racism.
Right.
Yeah, but you know, this is the crazy thing. You're completely correct, but then they end up giving their money to like BLM so they can buy big houses.
Yeah. The bugged out part is, this is the reason why I get so upset at a lot of conservative and liberty movement folks. We don't highlight the people that are doing the type of work that could need the funding, and it winds up going over to, we get this $6 million mansion because we told white people some goofy shit or stuff.
Hey, man, you know what I mean? We got to say stuff that get clicks. So the one thing that hurts us, like, that do work, is sometimes what we're doing doesn't get all the clicks. So saying the outlandish stuff and saying, you know, you going super far right or super far left, that's what gets you on the shows. That's what gets you shown. But the work every day doesn't get shown like that, because what it does is, if they put me on the platform, right, or if they bring me to the GOP convention, convention or whatever like that. Now it's going to show that you actually have to do something to change the community, not have a podcast, not talk about it, not write a book. There's actually things that you could do to actually change the community, and it's already being done. So they make money off of selling to the people, the idea of doing work, the idea of what could be done, or the idea of, I think they actually benefit from us not doing any work because it gives them something to talk about. I don't give them anything to talk about.
This was the Miami Herald?
No, Smithsonian.
Smithsonian made the actual...
The National Museum of African American History and Culture at the Smithsonian. So I got to pulp a little bit more of this because this is wild. Look at this. Obviously, time following a rigid time schedule is white supremacy. Planning for the future. Here's one that's really funny. Steak and potatoes, bland is best. Like, I'm sorry, dude. We have like, what's that guy? Mario Vitale. You got Emerald. You got Gordon Ramsay. What's this weird thing these leftists have with like white people don't like eating food? I don't understand that. Man's attractiveness based on economic status, power, and intellect. Holidays based on Christian religions. That's not white. There's big Christian nations that are not white. Look at South America. Based on white history and male leaders. Competition. Be number one, action-oriented, must always do something about a situation. This whole thing is just trying to convince non-white people to not work, sit around, complain, reject authority, and basically destroy their culture.
I think this keeps white people in power. So I would assume a white supremacist wrote this. Now, there are some black people, if the right leftists share it, they're going to... This is the truth, and people are gullible and naive enough to believe that this is the truth that we need in our community. Like, no, we should do everything the opposite of what grandma and granddad taught us, because apparently, according to this, my grandma's a white supremacist, my granddad's a white supremacist, being on time, Christian, hard work, etc. I mean, this is stuff I teach my sons on a daily basis.
This list made it. Like, quality control, right, exists. This list made it, like, through.
Yeah.
Like nobody was, it's like, this is almost like the Jaguar commercial. Like this made it to.
Yeah, I think the Jaguar commercial was on point though. I think they know what they're doing.
How?
Who buy, we talked about an IRL, but I'll ask you this.
Oh, who buys the Jag?
Who buys the Jag? It's upscale, urban, so it's people who live in cities and people who have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we've already seen since 2016 that's been trending heavily towards wokeness. So they're looking at wealthy, liberal, anti-Trump people who sold their Teslas, and they're like, look,
you need this.
The man in the fine suit smoking a cigar is not the guy buying the Jag anymore. That guy's voting for Donald Trump. He's not living in this. So what do? They're targeting the new demographic.
I see it. Just to me, in my brain, that commercial, if it gets all the way through, the stage one, absolutely not. Is usually where they die first. Why would you even bring this to the office? This is dumb. Get it out of here. It got it through there. It got it through there. It got it all the way to now if I go to the gym and if I have a good work ethic, somebody believed that this is the monopoly of white people. Now, if you're offended by this, and you should be to a certain extent, you should in essence go like what we did with BGM. I don't care who you said this is for. This Second Amendment thing, this being on time, this being in the gym, this working hard thing, that's mine now. Whoever main man was that thought it was the monopoly of the whites, whoever that is, I don't care what he thought. Like if you're offended by this, I think it shouldn't just stay at offended. You should go, cool. Like if you happen to be black, all right, cool, I'm white. Kiss my white ass. I'm doing all of this now.
Well, I think we can self-identify now. So I guess according to this, I have to identify as a white man.
Well, did you vote for Joe Biden?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
I mean, because everybody, come on, I mean, Joe Biden said it outright. If you don't vote for him,
vote for me.
You're not black.
See, this.
I have to identify as a
I
white
think
man.
that this stuff is, this is actually masterful.
It is. I agree.
On a different level, because the audacity of it and the obvious low IQ thought process that went into it, I don't think that somebody that does this is just like a bumbling idiot.
I don't know if it's low IQ.
I think it's very high IQ that can hide. Like, you know how like in Star Wars, a Sith Lord that's really, really dope can hide his level. You can't read the level that he on.
Yep.
It's the drunken monkey high. This is so high tech because now I get to argue about how stupid this is, as opposed to your point, going into organizations, people, businesses that are in alignment with liberty. And we, on the low end, we going to trick some people that really, really think, yeah. Because if you a fatty, if you just don't want to work out, if you love being late all of the time, now I could blame this. So we get the low-hanging fruit there.
Yep.
But on a different level, on a higher level, now we got to try to re-indoctrinate or reprogram the thought process of somebody that now could have been a soldier for a community, that now fighting to say, yeah, if you actually go work out and keep a solid work ethic, you are promoting white supremacy.
Man, I think what this is doing, what it could do is it's aiding the idea for people to not do better. And that's super bland to say, but I think, like, I've been working with kids for about 6 years now. And so the kids that I've been working with, mostly single mother households, etc. But I think what they're doing is telling them that it's okay to be in the condition that you're in. Like, it's okay, that's just white people stuff. And then if you think about it, you ever notice how, like, in the black community, like, let's say you go to the family reunion, the rich auntie, how everybody treats her when she gets, because she made it and she's doing good for herself. Everybody's just like, here she go with the car. And so subconsciously, all the kids, start thinking, oh, well, I don't want to, do better because nobody likes them or whatever. They're not in an environment where it's cool to do the right thing. So things like this is like aiding children not wanting to do better, because now the cool thing is doing the wrong thing. And everybody around you is doing the wrong thing. So, well, I want to be wanted. I want to be like just normal kids, normal adults, well, I'm not doing the best, and they're saying that if I do better, this is a white culture, and I'm not a white supremacist, and I don't want to be aligned with white folks or Donald Trump, so I'm not going to do better. And this is the psyop that they're creating in the minds of the people.
I've asked this before of some other black conservatives, but is there a thing where they say, like, hey, you're acting white?
Yeah.
You just gotta. So I'm a solutionary. So when I get hit with that, I go, no, I'm just better than you.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.